been up to second by his lonesome.
Both of those cars belong to Rick Hendricks, and there's been races where those two cars tangled, and they certainly don't want to do it again.
It's still Davey Allison for the lead, Gant in second, and then this war taking place. And we got a car in the wall. It looks like Rick Wilson has collected turn 4. Wilson taking a solid wrap, and there's another caution. That will be the 9th of the night. Now let's see if anybody's going to gamble on pit road. They certainly can go home from here with 323 complete on a 3/4 mile track.
I wouldn't think they would come in, Ken. They just ran about 4 or 5 laps on these new tires, and that's just something to scuff them good, so I would think the leaders would possibly stay out.
Waltrip, however, back in 10th. He has nothing to lose. He might come in here and see if there's something more he can do to finesse the 17 car. Leader continues to be Davey Allison, then the 33 car. That's Harry Gant running in second. The battle, and it was a big one. Ricky Rudd, Ernie Irvin, Ken Schrader. Let's go to Mike Joy quickly to the STP Pit Center.
Ken, in our first Goodyear Racing update, we told you that Harry Gant won last night's Busch Grand National race over Robert Presley. Let's explain to you how the point chasers fared. Bobby Labonte led Kenny Wallace by just 1 point going into last night's race, the 26th of 31 races on this year's tour. And they started right up front on the front row. Labonte had his 3rd pole of the season. Kenny Wallace started on the outside pole position. They ran up front early in that race, but it was a tough night for those 2 point chasers. There they are, Labonte on the left. Here he is on the left again with Kenny Wallace on the right. 3rd place point man Jimmy Hensley, first time out on the Goodyear radials. Jimmy had a tough twirl coming out of turn number 2. You're watching inside Hensley's car as he goes around in turn number 2 and spun. He got back on the track and recovered to finish 14th. Defending series champ Chuck Bound ended up in this melee out of turn number 2, and he finished the night in 29th position. Bobby Dotter lost a drive shaft. There's Bound going out with rear end trouble. He came back. Bobby Dotter lost a drive shaft. Kenny Wallace ran over it. That ruined the handling on his car, and he finished 15th. 44. Bobby Labonte got into a tussle with Ernie Irvin on the last lap of the race. Labonte had already been 1 lap down, and Labonte ended up in 16th position on the day. So, what happened to the battle for the Busch Championship? Here's how they went into the race. Labonte leading Wallace by 1 point, Hensley, Bound, and Joe Nemechek, who did have a top 10 finish. After the night, Kenny Wallace flip-flops and goes back on top by a mere 2 points. Rest of the separation looking down the top 5. Nemechek there moves up in the points just a bit. Wallace 2 points over Bobby Labonte, and Jimmy Hensley closes the gap. He's down 151. Chuck Bound 240 behind, and Nemechek having a great sophomore season, 251 in arrears, but still very much in the title chase. 5 races to go.
And they're off to Dover, Delaware for their next one. Ought to be a good one up there. Getting set on a restart now after Rick Wilson brought out this caution period. The Pennzoil Motor Oil aerial platform here being run by Barry Bates and doing a great job up there tonight. Larry Carp, the cameraman, getting us some great pictures. 65,000 folks here. If you're just joining us, this is Richmond International Raceway. And on TBS tonight, Winston Cup Racing, Davey Allison with an opportunity to win here for a 2nd time on this 3/4 mile track. Harry Gant trying very hard to put that Ford down a spot, put that Oldsmobile in the black and white checkers down here at the start-finish line. Ricky Rudd in 3rd.